Finding Home by Sapphire. Chapter 8. To Merge Two Worlds. Harry's here because I brought him here. Last time I checked, Stark, you came here in your suit. Nobody asked you, Spangles. Can someone just explain how no one's seen him around? What do you think I'm trying to do? If you people would just shut up for a minute. You know, this is just like you breaking the rules and endangering civilians. I'm a civilian, and does he look endangered to you? That's not the point. Then please enlighten us, Cap. What is the point? I mean, what is with this personal vendetta against me? Anyway, I don't have a personal vendetta. You're just too reckless, and you're going to end up hurting someone. Rogers, I swear to you, if I end up hurting Harry, I'll cut off my own arms. So back off. Excuse me. Since when did this turn into another verbal brawl between the two of you? You both need to stow it. Loki's missing, and we've got an unknown who's been on this base for God knows how many days. Agent Romanoff, with all due respect, I don't need you reiterating what we already know. Maybe we should... She's only trying to get everyone back on track, Stark. We are on track, Director, and I was trying to tell you before the American Capsicle butted in. It was an obvious lie. You didn't even let me get past 7 words because it was a lie. You humans get pettier every time you quarrel. Can you not just listen? Oh, that's rich comment from you, Thor. I seem to recall you were very much not listening when you went to retrieve your hammer. Can we all just... Good choice of words, Director. My hammer, Mjolnir, was rightfully mine. I was simply getting it back. When did we start talking about hammers? I thought we were here to... Hey! Enough! The sound of Bruce's hand slamming on top of the metal table in the room was enough to shut everyone up, and half of them all went for their weapons. Bruce snorted when Natasha pulled out her gun. This again, Agent Romanoff? I'm still in control, and that thing's not gonna do much if I'm not. A muscle jumped at Natasha's jaw before she slowly stowed away the gun again. A few steps away, Fury let his hand fall away from his own weapon, and Hill and Coulson followed Natasha's example. Now that I have your attention, Bruce clapped his hands together before sweeping an arm to the side in Harry's direction. Why don't we let Harry speak? After all, I'm assuming this is actually supposed to be about him? A long pause followed the pointed remark before Fury sighed, pulled out a chair, and sat down. You're right. Mr. Potter, what can you tell us? Slowly, everyone took a seat as well, their gazes turning to focus on the only Brit in the room. Harry had been silent so far, watching the Avengers snap at each other heatedly. If this was what planet Earth was counting on to save them, they were all in for a bumpy ride. Well, Harry started, looking around the room. For anyone who doesn't know yet, I'm Harry Potter. I'm Tony's friend, and I got on the base by myself. He shot a withering look at Tony when the billionaire made the protest. I don't mean anyone here any harm. I just came to protect Tony. At Harry's blunt admission, Tony's expression turned a mix of indignation and snugness. Harry rolled his eyes at him. But how did you get in here? Natasha demanded. And you've been here for days, haven't you? How has no one seen you? That would be my doing. Thor quickly cut in with a brief glance at Harry. I have been hoping. You snuck a civilian on board without notifying anyone? Hill asked with a frown. Thor shrugged, utterly unrepentant. Yes. But how did you get up here in the first place? Natasha pressed. Thor joined us halfway back from Germany. What, did you hitch a ride? Thor made a sound that sounded suspiciously amused. Harry shifted uncomfortably while Tony leaned forward with undisguised interest. Was he ready to just tell them all he was a wizard? Tony already knew, and Bruce sort of knew. He just didn't know what Harry was called. And Thor would accept it without batting an eye. Magic was something he understood. Surprisingly, it was Fury, of all people, who made the decision for him, leaning forward with focused intensity in his lone eye. I think the question here is, Mr. Potter, what made you pick Stark of all people to protect, and why would you choose to in the first place? You, of all people. Harry frowned. What? Harry James Potter, Fury said softly, and Harry felt like he had been doused with a bucket of cold water. Britain's savior. All around the room, people straightened in their seats. Even Tony frowned, confused. Harry just stared. You know, he said at last, not quite sure how to feel about this. Of course I know, Fury confirmed. This is S.H.I.E.L.D. There aren't many things we don't know, and nothing we don't eventually find out. Harry glanced away before looking back again when Fury continued. Do you know Britain has sent out bolos on you? They contacted the American ministry, and the American ministry contacted S.H.I.E.L.D. Who knew you would be living it up in Stark Industries? Harry immediately stiffened, bristling as Tony half rose out of his seat, obviously taking offense on Harry's behalf. First of all, I haven't been living it up anywhere, Harry said coldly. And second, the only reason that a bolo's circulating out there is because the British ministry never seems to have anything better to do than keep track of the whereabouts of their favorite poster boy. I'm no criminal. The American Ministry of Magic should know this. If they actually have even half a brain, they'd leave me alone. And if you, Director, have even half a brain cell, you won't so much as think about turning me in. Wait, Natasha interrupted the stare down between her boss and Harry. Britain's savior? Ministry of Magic? What are you talking about? There was a stilted silence as Harry closed his eyes for a moment before glancing back at Harry. The statute of secrecy hasn't applied to me for a long time, Harry said with a humorless tilt to his mouth. Comes with a benefits package of being the savior. I'm exempt from quite a few laws. It's your choice, Director. There was another prolonged pause before Fury sighed and proceeded to give a short overview of the magical community living in secret beside the Muggle world, and of the two wars that had haunted Britain for the better part of 4 decades. To say that most of the room was stunned would be an understatement. So magic's real? Natasha looked between Fury and Harry, and the mechanic just managed to catch a spark of childish excitement beneath the many layers the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent always stood behind. Here on Earth? Yeah, Harry nodded cautiously. But there are laws against telling muggles. I mean, you people. So none of this leaves the room, Fury warned. Or there'll be consequences, and not from me. So what's this about being Britain's savior? Tony asked, looking back at Harry. Harry grimaced. It's a long story. The basic rundown is that I got rid of a really bad wizard bent on world domination. Several times, since the bastard kept coming back. They upgraded me to savior when I got rid of him for good. Huh. Tony raised an eyebrow. Not much different than what we're doing right now, then. You said several times. Thor was watching Harry very closely. And yet you look no older than 19. Perhaps 20. Harry thought that gave his expression blank. He had 2 options. One wasn't even up for consideration here. Wizards and witches have longer lifespans, Harry said smoothly. We age more slowly. That's lucky, Tony teased as Thor frowned. So how old are you really? It's rude to ask people their age, Tony, Harry shot back, pasting on a smirk. Keep guessing. Back to the matter at hand, Fury interrupted as Tony settled back to grumble. Why are you protecting Stark? Do I need a reason? Harry countered. He's my friend. I protect my friends. I think everyone here can agree that we're about to go to war. I'm not about to let Tony walk into this alone. Your people are looking for you, Fury pointed out. Then they can keep looking, Harry said, voice frosting over again. There's no law that says I can't live what I want, however I want. And if there was, I'd probably be exempt from it too. You don't care that your friends and family are probably... I don't have family, Harry snapped so sharply that Tony seemed to be considering his actions of shutting Fury up forcibly. They're all dead. And I haven't talked to my friends from the wizarding world for over 8 years now. I highly doubt they're very worried about me. Tony's head swiveled around again, looking a little thrown, as if he hadn't expected Harry to be so completely cut off from other people. Harry had to fight down a sudden urge to laugh. What did the man expect? Had he already forgotten how hard Harry had tried to push him away when they had first met? There are British orcs out there, Fury tried again. Harry wasn't sure why the director was trying so hard to get rid of him, just that he was really getting on his nerves. And they'll do what exactly? Harry's voice became flat, anger clear, for everyone to hear. British orcs? I bet I'll know at least 2/3 of them. I went to school with all of them. I trained them. All the basics they've built their careers on, they learned it all from me. I taught them everything I knew after being fast-tracked through the Aura program when I was 15. If they come after me and try to drag me back for one reason or another, I can guarantee you they won't succeed. I can knock them back on their asses before they take one step through my front door, and that will only be if they've lost all respect for their goddamn general. Dead silence. At the end of his tirade, as Harry paused for breath, he met Tony's gaze briefly and almost winced at the dismay staring back at him. You were a war general at 15? Tony asked quietly. Even Fury looked surprised at the uncharacteristic sobriety in the billionaire's voice. Harry shrugged, settling down again as he let his anger fade. It was necessary. People were dying left and right, and I was temperamental. I didn't want to just stay in school, and the adults around me wanted me to train anyway, so I agreed. You were 15! Bruce looked almost resentful. Technically, I was 16 when I started leading people. Harry corrected. There's no difference. Natasha looked stricken, and Harry remembered the things Tony had mentioned about this woman's past. I was pretty angry at the time, Harry said. I had just... Well, my godfather was killed that year. So they played on your emotions. Natasha's eyes narrowed. That's despicable. That's life, Harry countered. People do what they can to survive, and I was the only person who could defeat Voldemort for good. Besides, it's in the past now. No use dredging it up years after the fact. Then you have no intention of returning? Fury spoke up again before Natasha could object. Harry frowned. I intend to live my own life. Fury leaned forwards again, expression determined, and Harry had a feeling he wouldn't like whatever the man came up with next. Perhaps it's part of the Avengers then?